Motherhood Uncorked. I'm your host, Courtney, and I'm here this week with Alana Kayfetz and her brand new little baby, Essa.
Say hi, Essa.
Say hi. Alana is the founder of the organization MomsTO, so she's here today to tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah.
As well as her journey in motherhood as well. So let's go for it.
Yes, that's sort of my brand. Baby on the hip, booze on the lip. Let's see what we can do.
Go for it.
Go for it, girlfriend. Do it.
I'm trying to keep it quiet.
It's okay.
So it doesn't scare.
No, she'll be fine.
Oh,
well done. She's used to it by now.
Casual noise.
Casual popping of champagne bottles. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Awesome. Smells delicious. Essa, you're gonna like this later.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me. Cheers, everybody. Nice.
So good. It's one of my favorite ones, actually.
Yeah, it's good.
So why don't we start by just talking about what MomsTO is and who it's for?
Sure. So MomsTO is becoming, I would say, one of the largest networks for moms on maternity leave in Toronto. Basically, we have one mission and one goal. We want to give moms a great day. So we do really cool events across the city. We're really interested in working to give moms that special one day of their month where they come out and they can put their jeans on and put their makeup together and go out with their girlfriends, or maybe meet some new girlfriends who are like-minded. And we go to the coolest, amazing venues in the city. And basically we offer really high-end experiences, and everything always is focused very much on the mom. And the baby is adjacent to the mother, sort of how Essa is with me here. But we really try to focus on giving moms a great day. And we do that through all sorts of ways, but primarily right now it's through our lunch series called Mamas That Like to Wine. So that's what
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that. Great concept.
Mamas Like to Wine.
So how did the whole thing get started? It was kind of a happy accident.
Yes.
Really, from what you told me.
Yes,
so.
absolutely. So MomsTO is an accidental movement, if you will. I was 12 weeks postpartum with my first babe, who's now just over 2. And I was at home at that stage, which I'm calling like the early haze of motherhood, where I was really not loving what had happened.
Right. Very big shock.
Yeah, big shock and shift. And sort of the rose had fallen off the bud a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I was less into this motherhood thing that I had thought. I thought it would be very natural and maternal for me, and I wasn't. I was feeling resent and loneliness and isolation, and it was sort of like the beginning of the dark winter. And I said to my husband, "This can't be it. This can't be the moment I've been waiting for my whole life. This like the mecca of my compilation of my adulthood. This can't be it." So after sort of coming to terms with, yeah, this is it. I was like, we gotta do something a little bit different. I gotta make it better. This can't be it. And I was like, I know young moms like me, millennial moms, they have a strong sense of personal identity. They have a strong sense of friendship groups. They have a strong sense of maybe like I consider myself like a maven or influencer to some degree, where I like want to go to the coolest restaurants and I want to go out and know what's up. And we're huge foodies. And my husband used to be in the restaurant industry. So in the food scene, we owned a restaurant. So I said to him, I'm just going to go to my local Facebook page. I'm going to see if there's any moms in my new neighborhood where I just moved into that want to come over and have a glass of wine. So I just went very, tongue-in-cheek, BYOB, bring your babies, your bottles, your boobs, and, come drink with me at this time at this place. So my husband made some food and went to work. He made some beautiful stuff. And 19 women showed up for me in my house. And my house is the size of the studio room.
You were not expecting
I wasn't expecting 19 moms. And it was remarkable. Thanks, Essa. All the moms came and they were like, what are you selling? Like, what is this? I'm like, it's nothing.
Fun.
It just come hang out with me.
Be my friend.
Just be my friend. So I started this little Facebook page called Moms That Like to Wine. And the tongue-in-cheek just sort of blew up. In February, we had our first event in a restaurant, February 2017. And here we are now in November 2018, and we've had 47 events. We've met over 6,500 women. And it just has been this nonstop, action-packed thrill ride of a motherhood. And this is what I wanted it to be. So I decided to carve out my own journey and to define it in a way that makes sense for me. And this is the best decision and the funnest time I've ever had in my entire life, is sort of coupling raising my kids and running a business, which is all accidental. So it's been awesome.
So when you had that first event, were you expecting it to become what it is, or?
Absolutely not. This is, it as I said, it sort of snowballed a little bit into this, what I'm calling is the Millennial Mom Movement, where what I realized, it was so much more. And it's not even about the wine. It's not even about the booze. Cheers.
It's a fun additive, though.
It's so fun. And what it is, it's a self-selecting group of women who are okay with this, right? Mixing two things that don't seemingly go together, right? I'm a mom. I had to be straight. I had to put those things, my hobbies, my passions aside. I got to focus and dedicate my whole life to my child. I understand that's for some women. It's not for me. And what I'm learning through this experience, it's not for a lot of women.
Exactly.
They want their child to be happy and healthy, but adjacent to their own healthiness. Look, alcoholism is a real struggle for a lot of people.
Yes.
100%. If you're somebody who struggles with addiction, this is probably not the great social outing for you.
No.
So we're not for everybody.
No.
But if you're somebody who can go out and drink reasonably and know your limits and drink within them, which is, I say, the majority of our attendees, we don't have booze at every event. It's not even about the booze. It's what the booze represents. It represents choice, freedom, a sense of self, doing something for you that perhaps not spending $20 on a maybe music class and go banging a drum in a basement, but spending, $20 on yourself to have a beer with some new women friends who you would have otherwise never have met because they don't live in a 3-block radius of you. So it's really a Toronto movement, and I didn't expect it, Courtney, to go where it has gone, and I'm so proud of what it has become. One of the things that's really important to me, as you think about it, Courtney, every generation of motherhood sets the bar for the next generation, right? For me, I want the generation that to come, our daughter's generation, when they have kids, that they know it's okay to pick themselves too.
Yeah, you don't have to pick one or the other, you can pick both.
Right.
And by picking yourself doesn't mean you're not picking your children. You're not putting them last. You're making both of you a priority, which is important.
That's right.
Because if you're not making yourself a priority, you're not going to take as good care of your kids because you're going to feel like a huge part of you is missing.
That's exactly it. Essa, what do you need? Maybe I'll nurse her for a minute. Is that okay?
Sure. So another thing that you're finding is with your events, as moms finish up their maternal leave and can no longer join you for these daytime events, they're still kind of craving the community that you've created. Oh, it's okay, sweetheart.
She's just talking. Sorry.
You chatting?
You talking? Your man was talking to you?
Yeah. You want to sit with me for a little bit?
Want to try?
You want to sit with me?
Want to sit down?
It makes a difference. You can look at my mom.
There we go.
Oh, I'm okay with this.
Okay. Okay, she's happy.
Okay. Right, so we're noticing you're still craving the community that you've created.
Right.
So you've kind of started...
Momboss.
Yes.
So Momboss was a vertical that we created out of demand from our community. Me, myself, went back to work while I was still working full-time while I was running MomsTO. And I felt like there was a desperate need to continue building a community for women who had to go back to work, who couldn't be on mat leave anymore, but wanted to perhaps pursue ways to understand a new challenge, which is like, how do you go back to work and be a mom? How do you sort of slay all day?
And then come home and not crash.
Right.
Or you're coming home to another full-time job.
That's it. So like that double day, that double shift, talking about that. But also what I realized is when I went back to work is most moms that I was talking to were keenly interested in learning about how to pivot away from their daytime jobs and how to do things differently, how to become entrepreneurial, how to like sort of have a non-traditional job, how to maybe provide for their family and have an independent sense of identity outside of their housework, but still be able to do something meaningful that wasn't shackling themselves to a desk.
Yes.
So MomsBoss ended up being like a whole conversation, and every time we host an event, it's a different conversation, but in essence, it's the same conversation of an entrepreneurship or women who are top of the game in industry and how they've sort of risen through the ranks. And really asking that question about motherhood, because often women who are very top in industry are often asked about industry related questions, not necessarily motherhood related questions. And that's been a phenomenal, she loves you, by the way.
Oh, okay.
You can keep her.
I'll keep her. I'll borrow her.
That's really where it has gone to, and we're very proud of the Momboss vertical, and we're expecting it to really blow up in the coming years.
I can see that too, because even myself, like I love being a stay-at-home mom, and I would never want to go to work to not be available for my kids whenever they need me. And I'm fortunate enough that I'm in a situation that I don't need to do that right now, but I also want to do something for myself and be part of something, which is part of the reason why I started this, because it gives me an opportunity to be a part of something more than just being a mom. And it gets me socializing with other people as well. Yeah. It's okay, sweetheart. I need to bounce you like this. Yeah. And I can see that other moms want that freedom too, where they have something for themselves. Yeah. And possibly that might even make them a little bit of income or supplement some income. Right. And to be able to be available for their children when they need them. You know?
Absolutely.
Take a day off and go watch your kids, grade 2 play or whatever. Right.
I know, so we're talking about you. Yeah, that's exactly it. I think women want to work differently. I think millennials want to work differently. I think it's 2019, and the rise of sort of the independent contractor is really interesting. The rise of the craft brand, which is really people taking chances and going out on their own and making something interesting. People who are makers, like actual creators, whether or not it's baby products or women-friendly products. Come, let's see. So I think that's all. I think those are all real, and I think we validate those. I think people are curious. People are curious about how other people took the plunge, right? Yeah. They want to know, like, when did you decide to stop working? When did you decide that this was going to be enough? And for some women, like for me, I'm not, like right now, it's not about making a profit. It never has been. For me, it was always about creating a community, right? Yes. Seeing a demand and filling it. If there's profit to be made, that's great, but I'm not necessarily there yet. And I know we will be soon. And right now, we really base our entire success on this team that I work closely with.
I'm still here bouncing my legs.
Oh, yeah. It's okay, I might keep her back.
I do that in the shopping cart too. I'll be like at the store by myself, like pushing it back and forth, and I'm like, there's no baby in here. There's no child to be rocked.
Well, she likes all the things, I think. I'm still getting to know her. We're still getting to know each other, right?
You're very new.
I started the wine festival. That was our big event. Can we talk about the wine festival?
Yeah, absolutely. We can talk about the wine festival. Okay. Yes, that's how I found you. Because I heard about this.
Did you come?
I could not make it this year because I literally heard about it like a couple days before, and I just couldn't swing it. With back to school and everything that. But
so basically, it's amazing. So the wine festival is our signature event of the year, and it's a giant, basically 500-person wine festival for moms. And what ended up happening was there's lots of cool events and festivals in the city, but if they're 19 plus events, and that includes infants. So if you're a mom, you can't bring your newborn to these events. So I was like, all the summer festivals were basically off limits. So
we're excluded.
Right, we're excluded. And it was like, okay, well that kind of sucks. There's this whole, group of women who I'm sure would love to go to these cool things, but they can't. So let's create our own cool thing. But basically, this is like our one big signature event. And what was really controversial in the first year we did it was an author who is award-winning for her, clinical research about women's relationship to alcoholism. Mm-hmm. Her real gripe is with how alcohol companies brand and market towards women, that she calls it the pinkification of the alcohol industry. Her name is Anne Doucette Johnson, and her book's called Drink. And she herself is a recovering alcoholic, or has been in recovery, or has recovered. But she discovered she was not her alcoholism when she was herself a young mother, and her drink of choice was wine. So it was just really personal for her. Yes. She asked me for a meeting, an interview 2 days before the wine festival, but I was too busy, so I couldn't. I declined. And then she decided to write an article about us that went out in the Sunday of the Wednesday of that same week in the Toronto, the Globe and Mail or the Star or something. I can't remember which publication. And it just went viral. And then one of the girls on my team wrote an article in Huffington Post saying, I'm a mom who breastfeeds and I drink alcohol. So it became this media frenzy where we were the center of it. So for the good or the bad, it became a huge week-long debate that I was on, like a lot of TV shows and radio stations and newspaper articles talking about women's relationship to alcohol. And some people just thought it was completely absurd that it even was a topic. But the truth was, I'm happy that we got the dialogue that we did, because at least it opened up the conversation for people to even ask the question about this sort of invisible new mom community and the kind of support that's available for them, and that we were creating that space.
Right, and it's not women that drink alcohol and breastfeed. It's not like they're going out and playing beer pong and drinking bottles and bottles of wine. They're enjoying responsibly, hopefully, a glass of wine, and they're entitled to do that. And absolutely,
the godfather of breastfeeding, his name is Dr. Jack Newman, the Newman Clinic. He spoke at the last wine festival a lot about breastfeeding, but he has publications, and I will stand beside him, because really I became sort of the advocate for this, his analogy that a breastfed baby, the amount of alcohol that passes through the system is the equivalent of one shot of alcohol in a bathtub of 82 liters of soda. So it's like 0.000 point something, very small percentage. I can send you the link if you want to link it, of what actually passes.
Okay.
And it basically doesn't affect them all. If you're an alcoholic, or if you're somebody who drank when you're pregnant, that has very negative effects on your child and your family, because behaviorally, if you're somebody who's too drunk to function as a human, then that's problematic. But there's a very fine line between, I think, when someone doesn't know their boundaries, that's problematic. But we also talk about that on our website. We have links to help for sites for women who are recovering alcoholics who are pregnant. We have information for them as well.
I think that kind of wraps it up. We touched on a lot of stuff today.
Excuse me, I'm burping from the champagne. Or this cava, whatever it is. I'm enjoying it. Thank you.
It's good. No problem.
Perfect.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me, Courtney.
So the link to your website, as well as your social media, and my social media is going to be in the description below.
Awesome.
As well as I'll link to the link that you had mentioned earlier.
Yeah, Dr. Newman's article is about breastfeeding.
Right. So that link will also be in the description below.
Yeah,
and if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss an episode.
That's awesome.
And
cheers.
Cheers.
Motherhood Uncorked.